Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Mike Smith for the Great Business Stories of St. Louis. And today I've got a special guest, Mark-Brimer, who is the owner and founder and CEO of Office Supply Solutions here in St. Louis. And I'm very glad to have Mark. He's quite the networking guru around the St. Louis area and want to hear his story. So, Mark, tell us about Office Supply Solutions. Tell us how you got started.
Well, it was actually an accident, believe it or not. I had been on the wholesale side of the industry for 10 years, left the industry for a couple of years and wanted to come back on the retail side. And the match of companies I used to have as clients and philosophies never worked. So I thought, what's the worst I can do? Lose a little money. So I started a business, not knowing what I was about to do to myself. And here,
Mhm.
15 years later, almost, we're still going. So that's the short version.
That's the great. So, we talk about that. If you read the book, The E-Myth, it's called The Entrepreneur's Seizure. So at some point in time, when you're in that distribution business, like you talked about there, you had an idea that sparked. So tell us a little bit more about that idea that sparked and what made you just go ahead and get started. What made you just pull the trigger and do it?
I knew I was very confident in the knowledge I had on the products. I knew I could sell, I knew I could purchase, and it was one of those things that I didn't know what other option to take, but knew I wanted to be back in this industry. So with that being said, I thought, I've got the resources, I've got the network to do it. So let's just try it. I mean, you don't get an opportunity usually to start a business many times in your life, so just everything kind of fell in place for that to happen. So I took a shot and it worked.
It's you said you've been in business for 15 years. So tell us a little bit about the startup and what got you through today, because obviously you've been through the different economical climes, you've been through the different presidents, you've been through COVID. Tell us a little bit about that 15 years of history that you have.
Well, I knew the first couple of years was going to be a little tight, which it was, but we just kept adding clients, which we're very fortunate through our network and connections to keep growing. Even though we're based in St. Louis, we do business all over the country thanks to our great supply chain um, resources of different warehouses in most major cities. So it allows us to do business from coast to coast, not only in St. Louis. As a result of that and the software I use, we're able to see instant stock. So we were able to get products a lot of people couldn't get during COVID. For instance, you might have heard there was a toilet paper shortage by chance.
Yes. Yes, remember that whole
We never ran out for a day. We were even UPS and Clorox wipes out of town to people who didn't have them because we did when other people didn't. So we're very fortunate that our suppliers kept us in business. My referral partners have always been very generous, and it equaled our first 10 years. We actually averaged one new account every business day for our first 10 years in business.
wow, that is phenomenal. That is a lot of customers. Those of you who do math, what's that, 3,600 or 36,000? I didn't do the
About
math right.
about 3,500, yeah,
Yeah,
pretty close.
3,500, yeah. 3,500 customers, which is phenomenal. So I know the answer to it, but everybody else is going to want to know it. So we've got big competitors that are out there, the Staples, the Office Max, the Office Depot, the now I know there's like a Cascade something that went around to all the big companies that deliver Boise Cascade or something like that, and all those have kind of shuffled out a little bit. Tell us how you've been able to grow your business to over 3,600 accounts while you're competing with these big box stores that are right in your backyard and you have the same colors they do. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell us how you compete with them.
We wear the color red much better than they do, but still,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, honestly, it's the cost to do business. I mean, our cost is so much less than the big stores. Like if you look at a retail, let's say Office Depot, they've got all that inventory, they have
Mhm.
rent, they have lights, they have 7 employees in there every time, and you probably won't find even two customers most times. With me, we don't buy products a lot of times until our customers do. So we
Okay.
don't have to store a lot of inventory. We do have some inventory on popular
Mhm.
items. We buy paper by the truckload to be ultra competitive.
Right.
But we're able to compete price wise, even though they might buy a couple percent better than we do.
Mhm.
We don't have to make as much on the back end because our costs aren't that much in comparison to them. We cut out all the erroneous costs that they're stuck with. And plus, we don't even sponsor a race car like some of them do, or big arena.
All right, that makes good sense. And we talked a little bit about one of your competitors, in the Wentzville area where I live, and and from. I was driving by today, and it's going out of business there. And so, tell me a little bit about, the again, it went from Staples to Office Depot to Office Max, or were those all big mergers, or what happened to that whole
So,
kind of category? Because you're there surviving and thriving. So what
well,
happened?
actually, Office Depot and Office Max combined.
Hmm.
Staples is a separate company. They tried to merge, and the I believe the FTC stopped that because of a monopoly. But
Right.
I mean, really, it's they might buy more volume than we do, but again, their cost to do business is what really is
Hmm.
their factor. And actually, what a lot of those companies are doing now are buying people like me to survive and letting them run. So
Hmm.
former independent businesses, when there's no legacy, sell out. Like
Hmm.
one did in St. Louis. I don't want to throw names out there, but
Yeah.
um, they were very large, and now they're just a local location of Office Depot. And when people find out that they're not a local business anymore, they're very upset because they thought they were keeping their dollars in town when they're really not. So we're actually one of three locally owned office supply companies on the St. Louis side that have more than one
Hmm.
employee that
No.
are around. When I started back in 2010, I believe there was 11.
Okay. Wow, that's great. It's a great shakeup and how you got through that. So obviously you've survived through that. I've met several of your employees at different networking events, and tell us about why they work for Mark and Office Supply Solutions, and why that's unique, because I see them around and they seem to stick.
Well, I mean, it must be the good jokes and the great wardrobe, but if it's not that, honestly, we just try to make it a friendly environment to work. I mean, again, you as an employee get a chance to choose what you do, where you go, but we try to make it where it's a very positive atmosphere. We're here to be supportive and make sure that yes, sometimes we do have to have conversations of, hey, let's do things differently. But on the other hand, when there's something that can be celebrated, we always try to celebrate too. So few times do people actually celebrate the wins; they just point out these shortcomings.
Gotcha. So so going back to that same question, what helps you retain them? I know that you have a good environment. You're a great guy to work with, but you seem to have a cult following there, and they seem to be very happy. And I know they like the jokes and the red, but what else keeps them there? I know that you're on top of things, so tell us a bit more about it. Those employees.
I mean, it's one of those things that we just try to create a work environment that people want to come to. I mean, there's a lot of people who go to work and dread their day. We try to make it fun. We have a very light-hearted attitude. Our doesn't mean we don't take things seriously, but like our one of our drivers created something where every time a vehicle goes out, we ring a bell. We actually did a video on that on our socials and blow a whistle. It's just one of those fun things we do, celebrating, hey, we're going out to take care of our customers. It's just something little, but it's something that everyone enjoys, and whoever is in charge back there takes care of making the noise. I rarely get that opportunity because I'm not back there. It's our director of operations and our drivers who celebrate
Yeah,
their successes.
that's great. So I did experience. We met at a networking event. I did experience the onboarding process as a customer. So tell everybody else so they can experience that and how that's unique. Go to your website and how someone chats with you. And I think when I signed up, you're actually the one that called me right away. So tell us how that works.
So when you go ask for an account on our website, it emails me personally, and I do my best to call the first moment I can. I've turned around phone calls in less than 5 minutes before, whenever
Hmm.
possible. But we want to make sure that we know who we're doing business with. It's not
Hmm.
an open site like a lot of people say, oh, I'll just sell to anybody. We
Hmm.
want to know who we're working with. We want to know that they're good people, which most times they are. And we actually have a conversation with them before they get a chance to have access to our site and to purchase from us. So we know that we're working with people we know, like, and trust, and for them the same.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. So, as you've gone through and tell us about some of the biggest challenges. So, Mark-Brimer, a younger man after 15 years, what would you tell a young business person who aspires to be an entrepreneur? What would be your one thing as you look back that you would give them advice to?
I don't know if you're gonna like this answer, but know what you're getting into because I had no idea what I was about to do to myself.
Uh-huh.
It's owning a business, especially in this type of industry. There's a lot of time that goes into it. I mean, anyone can do something in general, but to do it well, you've got to put the extra time in. And I mean, that's really what it is. I had no idea what I was about to do to myself. And
Uh-huh.
looking back, I don't know if I would have honestly made the same decision, but we're
Yeah.
here now. I'm glad it is what it is and feeds my
Yeah.
family, and we get to employ a lot of great people and affect their families in a positive way while affecting our community positively. At least that's what our goal is.
That's great. So I did experience that, world-winning customer service that you guys have, and it is unique that when you sign up for an account, I mean, there's an instant phone call, or not instant, but as soon as possible. You don't get that at the big stores. Um, I know that I went through at a unique printer, and we were working through some things on that, and you guys really know where to find things, know how to where to get them from, and how to source them wonderfully. So that was a great experience. So going through your entrepreneurial your entrepreneurial journey. You start a business, you had your entrepreneurial seizure. I'm gonna go, I think I can go do this business. And you went out there and you obviously hired some employees, and you have a great leadership style and very personable. Um, Tell me what you see in this industry, going forward. Obviously, there's still office supplies are always going to be consumed. I mean, offices aren't going anywhere. The mail's not going anywhere. Paper's not going anywhere. Supplies aren't going anywhere. So tell us what you're seeing in the next 5 years for your business.
I mean, everyone for years has said it's a paperless society. It's not quite there yet. It's and some offices working that way. I mean,
Mhm.
really, it's one of those things that in the next 5 years, I wish I could have a crystal ball to tell you what it is. But I mean, people are buying online so much and they're depersonalizing
Mhm.
what we do or what a lot of people do to the point where it's going to be so robotic that they're going to spend their time doing other people's job versus their own. That's why we encourage people to reach out to us and let us do product research, as we like to call rock star customer service. But so many people
Mhm.
think, oh, I'll just do it myself. And I see them hurting their own productivity, their own profitability by doing that versus relying on experts in different fields. Not like I'm a doctor or anything like that, but my theory is that for industries we're not in, we're at a kindergarten level because we just don't know. We don't do it every day. And no matter what
Mhm.
industry you are in, if you're an expert truly and you learn the industry, you can affect
Mhm.
people in a positive way so they can be more effective for their customers and more profitable in their business or their day.
Great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Going back to, if I'd have known what I got myself into, I'm not sure I would have done this again. Tell me how you balance that personal and professional life that you have, balancing that over the last 15 years with your family and your friends and everyone.
You said the word balance. I don't know the definition of that. Um, I will just say that it's not a balance. It's more of a swaying teeter totter. It's
Yeah.
I would love to say I balance it perfectly, but it's nowhere close. It's just making sure that I work enough to make sure I provide the service for our clients and do the due diligence for our company that I need to.
Mhm.
Also, the importance of spending time with my family and child and all that good stuff and stepchildren. So
Mhm.
it's tough. It's very little time I don't have already filled. We'll just say that.
Right. So hopefully you find time to go do some vacations and go get away a little bit here and there because you get a good team there. So hopefully you're finding that time.
Yep. A couple times a year, get away for a day here, maybe a week once in a while. So just to
Right.
recharge.
So you touched on a little bit earlier, your social media and some of those. Tell us how you do that uniquely, for Office Supply Solutions. We'll talk about the networking here in a minute, but tell us how you really handle your social, media and your advertising. Tell us how that works and what you've seen that's been successful.
You know, we always have the boss who's 3 foot high, a little girl who makes
Mm.
guest appearances. People like to see her, but really we just try to entertain people while giving some information. Some are more informational videos, but we do try to have some fun and goofy
Mhm.
scenarios that we put out there. But again, it's one of those things where it really comes down to we just want to let people know we're local, we're here, we're real people, and we're here to help. That's really what the whole message comes across, or that we're hoping comes across every time we uh, put something on the different social channels.
Gotcha. So, just my small experience because I worked for big companies where, bought pallets of paper, et cetera. Big printers that are out there. Now we see more smaller businesses, and I see a lot of the products. I think the last time I was at store, where you can create, you can print your own wine bottle labels, you can print all these different things. Are you seeing a lot more of those products coming around and being used for people? I bring that up because there's people are going a lot further with events like bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, and they customize things and they make them personal. Are you seeing a lot of new products being created in that arena where people can self-print and produce?
I mean, the printers have more capabilities than they ever have. We do have all
Hmm.
kinds of we'll call it media, whether it be stickers, labels, but really, I mean, we don't go into the logoed world a lot like a lot of
Right,
people do.
right,
So I don't see it as much. What I actually see is since COVID, people have actually pared down their offerings because they have less employees and
okay,
there's less SKUs available to the consumer, which is sad.
right, right. Yeah, that's a big change. So let's go back to the white elephant in the room. It's always the COVID, right? So, um, tell us how you maneuvered through COVID, and obviously, there's your employees aren't on top of each other. They're distance. You deliver, so I get to really see how you guys really prevailed during that. But tell us a little bit about your experience in maneuvering through COVID and post-COVID.
Well, during COVID, a lot of our competitors actually charged more for home delivery. For us,
Hmm.
we already were doing it. We didn't charge any extra. I felt that was dishonest. So really what I did a lot on the weekends is I would send Facebook messages to all my people with a picture showing everything we had in stock because to me it sounded ridiculous for people to go to the store and risk getting sick or deadly illnesses to get toilet
Right.
paper and cleaning supplies. So we delivered to a lot of front porches where our drivers were instructed to knock or ring the bell, take about 10
Mhm.
steps back, make sure that they made eye contact with the consumer and wave to them to show that we're a person we appreciate the business. I mean, it got as ridiculous as we had one time a customer actually had us delivered to the middle of their cul-de-sac. And we called them to say and waved to them. And then apparently all the neighbors came out to get there. We have bulk toilet paper and paper towels actually cheaper than the big box stores and the wholesale stores to this day.
Yeah. Oh,
They
wow.
actually go out and get them and take them back to their house so they weren't in contact with each other.
Yeah. Wow. That's a great way to service your customers and keep them all safe.
Yep.
Um, any other aspiring things you would tell, would-be entrepreneurs that want to start a business? Anything else you'd want to give them as a nugget of advice?
Sure. Most important thing is if you think you can run a business all by yourself, you're wrong. You need a lot of resources, whether it be internal or external, to be successful. I mean, maybe you can be successful a little bit on your own, but having a whole group of people behind you to support you,
Mm-hmm.
to be resources for you, to be sounding boards is huge because as much as we might think we're the greatest at what we do, there's other people that have been there before us and will be there after us that can be great mentors and guides for us.
Okay, that's great. Thank you for sharing that. So, as we wind down here, I usually talk about, I'm in obviously a lot of the networking groups. I'm in BNI and I go to the number nine network and a few other ones, the Friday group. And obviously I go to your network-a-thon. So tell us about how you really got into being, we kind of call you the Grand Master or the King of Networking in St. Louis. That's not a title you've ever asked for, but everybody knows Mark-Brimer. So tell us a little bit about how you first started networking and just got so connected with everyone.
Well, the 2 years I was out of industry, I was helping a friend with a granite countertop company, even though it was a new industry for me.
Mhm.
And 2 months after I started, the housing economy imploded in St. Louis. And I'm selling
Okay.
granite countertops. So through a friend, I got introduced to BNI, which you aforementioned, and built a
Hmm.
network. After a year in BNI, I decided I wanted to go back to the industry I knew, opened up my business in a month, and went back out networking. People were like, wait a second, I thought you sold granite countertops. And this was in 2010. And I said, well, you're right, I did for 2 years. I said, but since 1995, I've been doing this. Luckily, I built enough trust in my network that they would give me a chance. And then
Yeah.
referrals came and so on and so forth. Fast forward to our 5 year anniversary, 2015, we decided we should probably do something to celebrate this because a lot of businesses don't make 5 years. And we were
Right.
on well on our way. So we threw a networking party. It was supposed to be a parking lot party. And Mother Nature had other ideas. It rained very heavily. So our backup
Yeah.
plan was the warehouse space next to us. The landlord let us rent or use the 48 by 48 foot warehouse space, and we served food and had a couple different things going on where if you wanted to meet a certain profession, we had a schedule. You could go to a table to talk to a plumber for 15 minutes or network with a plumber or ask him a question. And then in the meantime, I was running around saying, "Hey, who do you want to meet?" And I'd walk you up and introduce you, just, trying to be a good host. The one thing we didn't think about was body heat, and everybody left covered in sweat. And I thought, what a failure this was. Well, the next day, everyone started calling, going, "This is the best event I've ever been to. When are you doing it again?" I go, "I'm not. It's a 5-year anniversary party. That only happens once." Then an hour later, the phone rang again, and I'm like, "Huh, this is interesting. I guess I should probably try this again." So there's a roller rink across the street from us, so we rented the roller rink, and another 250 people showed up. This time it was air conditioned, so that worked out well. And we did the similar thing and had over 60 people sponsor and support the event and had a great time. So then I thought, okay, this is working. Why don't I try a smaller event? And I picked a horrible day in December when everyone else had events. I still pulled almost 100 people. I'm like, I
Oh,
guess this is
wow.
working. So we evolved it where you get colored stickers to make sure that people know who you're looking to go to business with, whether it be business to business or business to consumer, so on and so forth. Wedding and events, home and home services, or lawyers. We also have people who are well connected. Walk around with a flag that says Network-A-Thon Connector. So if you want to meet a certain profession, you show up and say,
Right.
"I'd like to meet a business coach," and we walk them up to you. It works out
Yeah.
well. So rather than
Yeah. I've been
wandering
there.
around an event hoping, you get to
Yeah.
create your own event within our event.
Um, so how long have you been at Dave and Buster's? That's the place that I primarily have gone. How long have you been doing it there?
Oh, we're coming up on 2 years. I think this will be our coming up. We have an event on April the 29th this
Hmm.
year from 4 to 7 over there. We have a link on Eventbrite. I think this will be our seventh time over there, if I
Okay.
remember correctly, sixth or seventh. So
Yeah, those are well attended. The last one I think was one of the largest that I'd attended. I'm sure there have been larger, but that was a really large one that was I think people were ready to get out after the snow and the cold and all those things going on. So it's very unique, and the Network-A-Thon, again, you can get it on Eventbrite, right? You want to give them the website for that, or is there a website? What's the website for your
sure,
Network-A-Thon?
it's just networkathon.com. So
Hmm.
NETWORKATHON.com, networkathon.com. And it has a link on there, has a countdown to our next event, and completely free. Actually get paid to go because usually Dave and Buster's actually hands giveaways out. Either buy one, get one free $20 play card. Eileen does
Yeah,
a great job for us, her and Maggie over there, or free
yeah.
appetizer, something. So you actually get paid to network. And then we have a private cash bar. We have some snacks out there, even a private bathroom area for our event only.
It's a great event, and I highly recommend it for anybody that's listening in on this podcast, especially if they're in the St. Louis region. Mark holds these once a quarter, and usually I don't see a lot of conflicts because the dates that you pick and you pick them way ahead of time, so everybody knows to make that a priority.
We
So,
try.
any last pieces of wisdom you want to share with us about Office Supply Solutions or Network-A-Thon?
Well, as far as office supply solutions, we love the opportunity, if you're listening, to just have a 2 minute conversation with you over the phone. We're not a fit for everybody, but we know we're a fit for a lot of people. If nothing else, we'd like to just make sure that you're in the right place for yourself, whether it be with us or somebody else. And if you are with someone else and it's working, let us prove that you're in the right place. We just had someone think they're getting a great deal and we beat their pricing by 20%. So that happens, but other times they're in a great place. So just all we're asking for is a 2 minute conversation. As far as Network-A-Thon goes, we have people coming from about an hour to an hour and a half away. If you're in the region, you're welcome to join us. We'd love to have you. Make sure you come up to me. I'll look just like this with a red shirt, big muscles, and all that good stuff. Let me know who you are, who that Mike invited you, and that way we can help Mike grow his network as well. Because if you come up and tell me who you are and he invited you, if someone wants to meet you, I'm going to actually bring that person up to Mike, let him connect them to you because he did the courtesy of bringing you to our event.
Great. So, how do they get a hold of you at Office Supply Solutions? What's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Our main line is 314-227-6771, or you can call or send me an email at Mark, MARK, Brimer, B as in boy, RI, M as in Mark, ER, at office supply with a Y, solutions with an S, LLC.com. Nice and short.
There you go. And what's your website? What's the website as well?
Oh, great. Thanks for asking. It's Office Supply Solutions, LLC.com. You like an account? Fill out a form. We'll give you a call.
Yeah, it takes just a couple seconds. I think it's at the top right, and you click on it, and boom, someone will get a hold of you back from there. So thanks again for coming to the Great Business Stories of St. Louis, Missouri, and so proud that you're one of my friends, and enjoyed you. I've been to your BNIs where you've given your presentation, and what you do, and it's just a great opportunity. And I've seen over and over the number of clients that you get because you just want to have a conversation. You're not selling them anything. It's like, here's what we got, here's what they got, here's the service we offer, and you keep converting them over. So congratulations on your success and many more years of it.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to be on the podcast. I really appreciate it, Mike.
Thank you.